Everybody, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to walk you through the lessons that I have learned in 2022. 2022 was the year that I changed my life. I manifested many things into reality. I had many crying nights, I had many hard nights, but now, sitting where I am right now, honestly, it was all worth it. Everything that happened to me and the pain, the crying, the screams, everything was definitely worth it. I learned 12 valuable lessons that I'm about to share with you in this video so it can set you on the right path in 2023 and hopefully it can be helpful to many of you. Now, let's get started. First lesson I learned was letting go. I learned to let go in this year. Let go of what? Anything and anyone that don't serve me well anymore. Like, for example, I have a piece of clothing that has been in my drawer for 2 years right now and I don't wear it. Why continuously keep it? Why keep it when it's not gonna serve you and you know very well you're not gonna wear it? This actually has been the most year that I gave clothes and things out to charity. Also with people, I have let go of many people this year from my life. Not necessarily that they have caused me any harm, but maybe they weren't any good either. Now I only keep people in my life who are assets. I no longer tolerate liabilities, whether it's with things or with people. If you don't serve me well anymore, you are definitely out of my life. People who don't serve me anymore, I have reduced my contact with them to nearly zero, but still, yes, we do know each other maybe from time to time we chat, but just I don't really interact with them. I don't really try to invest into them anymore because in my eyes, they are just liabilities. What do I mean by that? Do they like give me money or do they spend on me or do they, I don't know, do something that is beneficial for me? Like in a way I use them. No, it's not like that at all. I mean, basically people, when I sit with them, I don't feel like my mind is growing when I'm sitting with them. I feel like actually it's getting smaller. Instead of us talking about ways how to be better people, we talk about other people. We talk about celebrity news. I don't want that. I want us to talk about investment. I want us to talk about therapy. I want us to talk about they can give me different information that I don't know and I give them information that they don't know. We just talk about deep stuff in life and this makes your mind actually grow and think. But people who talk about other people or people who just waste my time with useless things, I don't really like sitting with them anymore. Now, if I'm talking about the people who are assets, those are the people who are there when I need them. Those are the people who slap me into reality when I am confused. Those are the people that are truly happy for me and for my accomplishments. Those are the people that give me the love that I deserve, but also respect my boundaries. These are the type of people that I call assets. The type of people that when I sit with, my mind grows in wisdom and not in people's gossip. And these are the people that you should have in 2023. Now comes to the second lesson. Everything, and I mean it, everything is replaceable. You have a piece of clothing in your cupboard and you don't want to throw it because you love it so much and you think you're not going to find anything like that. You'll find better. You have this boy that you have been dating for a while right now and you can't break up with them because of the history that you both have, even though he's toxic to you. And you think this is love and you're not going to find something like that ever again. You'll find better. You don't want to leave that group of friends who all they talk about is just other people's businesses and there's nothing deep that comes out of sitting with them. And for some reason you continuously feel like you don't belong with them. That's because you actually don't. You deserve better. A setback doesn't mean failure. Now comes to my third lesson, which is a setback doesn't mean failure. What does that mean? Basically, I always wanted to graduate early, okay? And I was about to graduate last January. And my GPA was about 3.4. I always had a high GPA in most of my university semesters. However, in that last semester, I decided that I was going to do something that a lot of you may find stupid, but honestly, I don't regret it. In most of my university years, I was actually working. I always tried to maintain a very high GPA and I didn't really get to experience the full university life. So I decided since it's my last semester, I want to experience everything related to the university life. So what did that cost me? My GPA dropped drastically and I failed one subject, which caused me not to graduate in last winter. So instead of me graduating in 3.5 years, that didn't happen. Even I really wanted to graduate early, that didn't happen. But you know what I gained though? This.
You've arrived at your destination.
Instead of graduating in winter, I ended up graduating in summer with all of my friends, and we had an amazing ceremony, and all of us were united, sharing our happiness together, and it was such a beautiful experience. And if you ask me, if I go back, would I do the same thing? Would I fail that subject? The answer is yes, I would do it. I will choose every day to make memories with people that I love instead of caring about what a piece of paper says about me. You may think that, okay, but SONDOS, this is gonna be hurtful for your career later on. And I say, no. I have worked in company in the US, in Turkey, UAE, India, Cyprus, many more actually. I had clients pretty much around the world, and none of them ever asked me, what is my GPA? Some of them didn't even ask me if I graduated or not, and I was so surprised about that. All they cared about was that I'm a decent person, and even some of them, I didn't even have the skills to fully comply with that job, but they just believed in me and they gave me that chance. So exhausting yourself for your GPA isn't necessarily indication for success. If you want to know about how I landed nearly every single job I ever interviewed for and know my secrets and my tricks, make sure to leave this emoji down below in the comments and it will be my next video. The fourth lesson I learned is be careful who you share news and personal stuff about you too. About 2 years ago, I was working as a sales representative in one of the hotels over here in Antalya. And the thing is, I met a guy who was actually close to my age, and he was telling me about how he travels the world and he works remotely. At that time, I never heard about the idea of working remotely. I always thought that I have to, okay, after I graduate, I'm gonna work a 9-to-5 job, and this is gonna be my future. Like, I can travel, I can spend a lot of time with my friends. Maybe like once a year, I can maybe go somewhere. But that's it. But then he introduced me to the idea of him working remotely, and he told me also about his income, and I was so surprised about someone our age can actually be making this much money and traveling. He opened the door and the path to me to technically where I am today. So basically, now that these things started happening to me and I started working online and I started landing jobs at such a young age, even before I graduated, I started sharing my experience with people around me. So also, they don't have to exhaust themselves looking for a 9-to-5 jobs or doing jobs that they don't actually like. So I opened for them the opportunity that actually can work remotely. And it was like something so wow for people. Like a lot of people, actually, I'm surprised until this day, they still don't know that you can work remotely. So I was sharing to people, helping them find their own path, also telling them about my secrets and the tips that I do in the interview process to help them find jobs. Even when I was working with some clients, I used to recommend my friends to those people. Until now, I still do that, especially if I find that if my friend is really good at what they do, then honestly, they deserve finding that opportunity. However, this is not always the case. A lot of people, when you go tell them about how much you make or what you do, they don't look at it like in a way that you're advising them or you are trying to guide them. You could go and tell people about how much you make and what you do in order to help them or even set for them a path, just like that guy I met 2 years ago did for me. But a lot of people don't take it that way. Some people could be not happy for you. Some people could even be envious of you. They could even wish harm upon you for saying that. And unfortunately, that's what happened, because until now, I don't really understand about how my income was like around 30K this summer, and now it dropped drastically. And I do believe that it was because of hasad, or this is what the word, because I don't find any other explanation for the things that happened at that time, other than the fact that I was just sharing with people that I do work this, and that, and you can as well work this much. You shouldn't accept such low income from this and that. You can earn that much and I can help you. But a lot of people did see it in a way that, like, why is she earning that much at such a young age? But yeah, that's pretty much what happened. And even though I don't make that amount anymore right now, but I managed to save enough to start the projects I'm about to talk about in my next point. Which brings me to the next lesson, which is I wasn't born to be an employee. Those of you working right now, you're going to understand what I'm about to say. So did you ever have a problem at work and you have the solution for it, but then your boss is telling you, no, this is wrong, I don't want to follow it. But because you genuinely really care about your job, you keep insisting about it, and they say, no, we don't want. And then when they don't listen to you and they follow what they wanted, in the end, the consequences, they blame you for it. I passed through that. So I realized it's very hard for me to work for dumb heads like that, and honestly, with my skills, I'm making those people rich, but where am I? Basically, when you're an employee, you are making other people rich, but not yourself. So I decided to invest all that effort and whatever mental health I have left into myself and into my own, hopefully, business. Which brings me to my next lesson. I don't know what number is this, I kind of lost count, but this lesson is pay myself first. And I learned this from the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, which I do recommend for everyone to read that book. It's quite helpful and it opened my eyes to things I actually couldn't see before, and it's the reason where I am right now. Pay myself first. What does that mean? Basically, once you get your salary or once you get some sort of income, the first thing that you do is you go spend it on clothes, on shopping, on your car, on whatever, okay? But these are all liabilities. I'm gonna get into that later. This is not called paying yourself first. You think, okay, because you got your salary, you wanna spoil yourself, you wanna look cute, you wanna go do your nails, you wanna go do your hair. That's not you. That's not you paying yourself first. That's you paying other people first. Paying yourself first means that the first check that you actually get, you go and you invest it in your investment account or in your savings account. That's you paying yourself first and eventually turning those investments into ways that are going to generate income for you. So in a way that you're not going to always be dependent on your salary, because your salary can disappear any day. So my advice to you also for 2023, any income that you get, learn to leave a portion in the beginning that you have to give to yourself before anyone else, before paying your bills, before paying your rent, before paying anything. Pay yourself first. This brings me to the 7th lesson I learned this year, which is breaking a fear doesn't mean breaking a knee. What does that mean? 2022 was the year that I learned how to ride a bike and how to swim. This may seem like something normal to a lot of you because most of you probably learned it in your childhood, but for me it was such a huge deal because I completely gave up on both of them. One day this summer I went out with my friends for swimming. So the thing is, we all went to the pool and stuff, and obviously I always stay in the area that's like not deep and they all just go swim and come back, and I'm just like, I'm just like chilling over there. Then one of my friends, she was just like, come, I'll teach you how to swim. And I said, no, many tried like 20 times, I almost drowned, I'm good, it's okay, I accepted myself. She was like, no, come, I'll seriously teach you, I'll not take you to the deep part, we're just gonna practice here. I told her, okay. And then she held one of my hands and with the other hand she asked me to start moving it along with my legs. And she just told me to keep doing this. And then it worked. And then even though, yeah, she was holding me, but it felt amazing actually doing it. The next time I went swimming again, but this time I was completely alone. I had no one with me. And I decided, why don't I actually give it a shot? But this time it was in the sea. So I know that usually, yeah, if you're swimming in the sea, you can float easier compared to the pool, but still, sea for me, it was much more scarier. So the thing is, I started to just try to move both my hands, just completely float on the water, believe that I'm not gonna sink and I'm gonna be okay. And it happened. I actually did swim and it felt amazing. It felt like literally I was flying. It didn't feel like I was swimming. It literally felt like I was flying, and it was this amazing feeling that I will never forget. And it felt like finally, after 22 years, I'm finally able to do it. So guys, don't give up on your dreams. Maybe it could be a bit late, but it will happen. It will manifest eventually if you keep believing that one day, somehow, it could happen. This time when it finally happened, and everyone was always telling me about how you just have to throw yourself in the deep and somehow you're gonna swim, and even though I tried that a million times, it never worked for me. And it always felt like, do I have something wrong with me that I'm not able to learn and everyone learned with this method? No. Even though this is not the point of this lesson, but just always remember, if you keep convincing a fish it's a loser because it's not able to climb a tree, its whole life is gonna think it's not good enough. But this is not the cause here. Sometimes you just haven't found the technique that is actually suitable for you. So you have to keep looking and you have to keep trying until you find what is suitable for you to reach to your goal or to achieve something that you always wanted. Also now comes to the psychological part of this, which is breaking a fear doesn't mean breaking a knee. With riding the bike or swimming, I was always telling myself about how if I try, I am gonna fall and die and badly hurt myself. If I try swimming, I'm gonna drown and that's it, I'm dead. So I know I'm gonna go away, I'm not gonna even try. But that stopped me from achieving many things in my life, not only related to swimming or riding a bike. Sometimes in this life, there's opportunities that if you don't jump in them, they're never gonna happen. You sometimes have to take that leap of faith in yourself and in your goal in order for it to happen. Now this brings us to our 8th lesson of this video, which is, I hope it's 8th, okay? When anything is involved with money or your mental health, choose yourself first. You're not being selfish, you're being smart. Why is that? And what is my story of all of this and how did I learn that? Well, this is actually a pretty long story that I'm going to make another whole video about it, but I'm going to give you the summary of it. This year, at some time, I was working 2 full-time jobs in the same time. Yeah, hectic and dumb decision. But I did it anyway. Your girl here is a superwoman. Yeah. Now, I won't mention the names of the 2 companies I was working with. I'm just going to label them as Company A and Company B. Now, let's put in mind, Company A was actually paying me double the salary of Company B. They were giving me better benefits. The working conditions were much more healthy in every way possible compared to Company B, okay? Basically, Company B was in some sort of crisis by the time that I was working with them, and at that time I was contributing a lot to the company. I knew that if I leave, this is going to affect the company pretty badly. But at some point, Company A obviously did not like how I'm working at 2 places at once, and they wanted me to solely work only for them. So they emailed me and they told me about how you have 3 days to decide what do you want to do, because we can't keep working with you if you're working with another person or if you're working with another company. And I told them, okay, just give me some time to think. So obviously, because Company B was passing through a crisis and I knew how much it would affect him if I just leave suddenly, like literally in this moment, I decided that I am going to stay with them for 1 month and then I could leave them and work completely for Company A. What happened is, when I emailed Company A with this, that just give me 1 month because I can't leave Company B right now in this middle of crisis, in the middle of the season, and it's going to affect them pretty badly. I feel like it's unethical if I just leave suddenly and choose my own gain over people that I'm working with and people that trusted me. So they told me, we are sorry, we can't continue with you because you just have 3 days, we can't wait for a month. At that time, I was like, it's okay, SONDOS, like, you did the right thing and you weren't selfish and you didn't choose yourself. So it's okay, and anyway, you had a lot of work pressure, so now you're at least working for 1 job. Yeah. Unfortunately, Company B, I did not last with them very long because the work environment was pretty toxic and I realized that I'm just draining myself trying to make them better. And I am losing myself in the process. I'm gonna make a whole video about this so you can also know that what type of work environments that you should get out as soon as you see these signs. Anyway, I ended up leaving Company B eventually because the work environment was a bit toxic to me and I realized that I shouldn't stay in such a place that is draining me and completely sucking out of my energy without anything in return. They didn't even appreciate the fact that I left a better opportunity to actually just stand by them, but no, it was always like belittling me and belittling my work. And once you see this, this is actually a sign for you to leave the workplace you're in. Moral of the story is, you should always choose yourself first when it comes to your personal gain and when it comes to your mental health. You can't just keep cutting pieces out of you and giving it around to people. Because at some point, you're not going to have anything to give your power back to yourself again. At some point, you're going to lose everything because you give everything to everyone around you. And unfortunately, not everyone actually appreciates it. That's why my girl Nicki Minaj said,
I'll tell you what my mother told me, and these are words to live by. Selfish people live longer.
Yeah, selfish people live longer. Now this brings us to our 9th lesson, and I'm also going to combine it with the 10th lesson, which is saying no more and setting boundaries. Also, accepting no from people. Let's get into that. Don't be a yes man. What does that mean? If you don't want to do something, don't do it. Just say no. Why? I want to sleep. I want to watch Netflix. I want to work. I want to go out. Just say no. And people who know you truly and know that what you would actually do for them, they wouldn't get offended. They would respect it and move on. One thing I learned this year, and also I have read this somewhere in a comment section here on YouTube, which says, people who get angry at you for putting yourself first and setting boundaries are the same people who benefit from you the most when you put yourself last and be their yes man. One of the things I noticed was that people tend to respect the person who says no more, even if he's a rude person, even if he's not respectful, compared to the person who's super polite and who always says yes to you. Do you want to know why is that? Because someone who says no to the things that make them uncomfortable and set boundaries, they know their self-worth, compared to someone who says yes all the time and is a people pleaser. Saying no doesn't make you a bad person. Saying no just means that you know your boundaries, you know what makes you uncomfortable, and you please yourself before you please anyone else. If you feel like you have the energy and if you feel like you want to do something for someone else, you do it, but don't do it because you feel like you actually have to. Often for us, it's hard to accept rejection and it's hard to accept the word no. But accepting to hear the word no and accept giving it actually creates a healthier boundaries between you and other people. You need to learn how to accept hearing no and saying no to people. Saying no, it's like it's there in the English dictionary for a reason, okay, for you to actually use it. And you will notice actually a huge change with you accepting the word no from people, not feeling offended by it, and you giving it. This is going to create a healthy boundary and a healthy lifestyle between you and the people around you. It's okay to love someone and still choose not to be with them. Not necessarily that they're bad or you're bad, but just maybe both of you are not for each other anymore. So it's time for you to part ways and to find your path again. The last lesson of this video is actually not for me, but it's for you. So you have to be subscribed to stay tuned to my next video, which will be how to manifest your dream life for 2023 the right way. Because manifestation, actually, a lot of people tend to practice it wrong and they're surprised about where is the results and everything like that. So I'm going to teach you how I manifested my dream life for you to make all your dreams come true. Now, see you in my next video. Goodbye.